Disney and Pixar's Soul was directed by Pete Docter and it stars Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey. This movie is about a middle school um, music teacher named Joe Gardner, who's played by Jamie Foxx, who's been dreaming of being a jazz musician until one day he gets transported into the great before. Yeah, he gets transported to the great before, and he becomes a soul version of himself. And he has to get help from Tina Fey to help him trying to get him back to his normal body. And now we got our movie. And here it is. Disney Pixar Soul is finally here, and I really look forward to seeing this movie after watching the trailers. And also, the bad news is, when I heard about the movie being delayed, when I heard about this movie being delayed, because this movie was actually supposed to come out in June this year, but the movie was actually delayed last month, November, but um they delayed it again, and they delayed it here on Christmas Day on Disney Plus. So if you have it on, so this movie is actually on Disney Plus. I meant to say, so the movie is actually on Disney Plus right now. If you have Disney Plus, you'll probably watch it and actually like it. So I woke up this morning, actually watched the whole movie. I watched the whole movie, and how was it? And after I watched the movie, how was it to me? It was great. This is by far one of the best Pixar movies I've seen all year. This is my favorite Pixar movie. I really like so the actors in the movie. I'm gonna start with the actors. Now I'm gonna say Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is great in this movie. Oh my God, Jamie Foxx as Joe Gardner is great, and I like the character. Jamie Foxx is great in the movie. I liked his character a lot. His character was charming. I liked when his character actually gives a really good message about what is your dream, what do you want to do for your future, yeah, what do you want to be when you grow up or something, and that's where he actually gives a really good message and asks really good questions about what do you want to be when you grow up, what's your dream about, what do you want to do in your future, and also and what else I like about this movie is Tina Fey. Tina Fey as 22. I find 22 very funny because I think some of you guys are gonna say 22 is really annoying. No, I find her really funny and charming and really silly and also emotional. And one thing I also like about this movie the animation is great. I know a lot of people are gonna say the animation is pretty good. The animation is great. The rest of everybody else in the movie, like the other actors who plays other characters in this movie, is also great in the movie. Um, that's one of the best parts of the movie. This movie is basically actually on this movie actually will tell. So this movie is basically about not just about this movie's not just about stuff that you dream about. This movie's also about we're born, we live, we die, and also it's also about life and death and past, present, and well, mostly past and present and future or something like that. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about this movie is the I think Pete Docter did a really good job directing this movie, and I think the last movie he did was Inside Out, which I meant to talk about. This movie is mostly appealed a little bit to Inside Out, but different. This movie was actually more touching, like Inside Out was. This movie actually so the movie actually has some really good touching moments. Well, not enough. Well, the movie has what I love about this movie is the other characters in the movie, like some other characters in the movie who lives in this realm or some sort, who lives in the great before or beyond, whatever you want to call it. They're actually really good in the movie. And everything else about this movie that Pete Docter has done really good about this movie, that the animation is great. I really loved his animation with Pixar movies, and I think some most of his Pixar movies, I think because whenever Pete Docter makes a Pixar movie, I think he makes them more touching, like he did with Inside Out. I think he did Disney Pixar's Up, and because to me he probably did what's that movie he did Inside Out. And the only thing he probably also did was Monsters Inc., which is actually a good movie. So one thing that this movie actually does not appeal to young kids, and this movie mostly appeals to all ages, and mostly this Pixar movie is mostly for adults, because I think Pete Docter mostly makes Disney Pixar movies for like adults. Like put some touching emotional stuff in the movie makes and also but not just for adults, also an all ages movie because this movie's not just really a kids movie because this is not really a kids movie, but because I know a lot of kids are really gonna like this movie. A lot of kids gonna watch this movie because actually watching this movie at home on Disney Plus is actually way better than probably watching it in theaters. No offense though. Um, and I'm hoping we'll get this movie on DVD mostly next year. I guess I really don't even know if this movie's gonna come out on DVD or not. If not, then I understand. And I mean that's up to Disney and Pixar's decision, and it is what it is. So one thing that this movie actually kind of appealed to is Inside Out, but it's different. This movie actually almost appealed to Inside Out is because the movie has the movie has like Inside Out has touching scenes, has really good touching scenes. This movie has really excellent more touching scenes as well. Has really good touching scenes that Inside Out has. Like Inside Out is different because that's more of a human body movie that takes place inside your head. But with this movie takes place in like in another world, in another realm or something. And also, this movie is also about like past, present, future, or something like that. And excuse me. And the one thing I really love about this movie is what else I love about this movie? Oh yeah, I meant to say the jazz music. The music score is oh my god, I love the music score. I love the jazz music. I love the music about this movie. The movie has really good music and also has some really good jazz music. And Joe and 22 are both flashed out, and that's one thing I really liked about this movie is also Joe and 22 were both flashed out as are really good characters, and these two characters do work together and give really good chemistry together, and that's one thing I really liked about Tina Fey and Jamie Foxx, and mostly Jamie Foxx is the best part of the film. Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey, because mostly they do get really good chemistry together. And mostly the acting in this movie, the performances is great. And I'm surprised this movie is made for all ages. Mostly, I'm surprised this movie was actually made for all ages anyway. Because Disney and Pixar is Up. If you watch Disney and Pixar's Up, that movie is mostly for all ages and mostly for adults. Um, And with Inside Out, it's more of an all ages movie because it's not just a kids movie. It's also a lot. It's not just a kids movie. It's also a movie for all ages, like mostly for young kids, teenagers, and adults. And that's what this movie actually does a really good job with. This movie doesn't act like a kids movie. It feels like you're watching a real Pixar movie. It does like Pixar does a really good job making movies not just for kids and also make stuff for adults as well and teenagers. And that's one of the best things I really liked about both Pixar, like some of the Pixar movies, including this one, because this one has really good animation, and I think that's mostly it. I got nothing much to say about the film anyway. So the music score, everything else about this movie, all the actors who plays like the characters in the movie are also great. We have other characters in the movie. I think my one problem with this, no, not one problem. I think because I think never mind. I meant to talk about the villain, but the villain didn't really look much like a villain in this movie all that much. Like I forgot the character's name. Though I think the movie could have had a little bit of a villain in the movie, but I think the I don't know. Forget the villain. I think this movie has a really good villain in this movie, which is this soul character, which is not really well. This one is not a soul. This one is sort of like a drawing character, of some sort, like a because she's actually the villain in this movie. She actually was actually a really good villain. She was actually really good in this movie. I forgot the character's name now. It'd be like they're like 1,000 souls, and they're like 1,000 souls, like going to the great beyond every day, something like that. And that's what she said in the trailer. And I'm like, yeah, I forgot this character's name. But who knows? So that's it about the villain, and that's probably it about this movie. So this movie actually is actually one of the best Disney Pixar movies I've seen all year. So I'm gonna say that's about it for this movie review. So nothing much to say about the movie anyway. So that's about it. So that's all I gotta say for this movie review for Disney and Pixar's Soul. If you have Disney Plus, watch it. It's really good. Watch it with the whole watch it with your family or something like watch it with your whole family. They'll probably enjoy it as well. And and this is actually one of my favorite Pixar movies. Now I bet I'm gonna watch this movie over and over again. So I think that's all I gotta say for this movie review for Disney Pixar Soul. So I'm gonna give this. So I really like this movie. So that's about it for this movie review for Disney Pixar Soul, and that's about it. So be sure to like, subscribe, press notification bell, follow me on Instagram, and comment down below. And I'll see you on my next video. Thank you for watching.